very, very strange doing this online. But as discussed and thought about, looking at the CAPS requirements of careers and career education, as well as APS and financial aid, it is easier doing it online, so we can actually go through step by step what needs to be done. You should absolutely pause, rewind, go forward as you need to. And for this particular one, I'm actually going to focus on WITS and UJ. And the reason that I'm focusing on WITS and UJ is obviously they are the ones that are closest to us, and they then potentially make the most sense. What we are really fortunate about is that the university websites have just improved so much. So what you look at now, actually, as long as you have decent internet, is going to help you hugely going forward. So absolutely recommend that when you're at school, come on and have a look through these. There is a whole lot more information than what we are going through. And actually, once you feel comfortable navigating the websites, it really does answer a whole lot of questions that you have. So when we were looking at APS scores, one of the things that does take us by surprise is that they are different at each university. And although there is a similarity and a thread that goes with it, it is really, really important when we are looking at them that we are looking at them for each university. So if I take you back, and hopefully you're going to be able to see this. Oh, let me, sorry, share this window. So let's just check we've all got this in front of us. So hopefully what you can see now is just the really, really simple table that we need to be working with. You are going to write in the names of your subject on the left-hand side. And as we discussed, this is for you. So you don't need to write down the full names of your subjects, but just LS for life sciences, LO for life orientation, etc. If you have a table like this, and if you ensure that it is accurate, actually it makes the next step a whole lot easier. So you have your table, and I'm going to stop sharing this and go back to the WITS website because that's where we're actually going to start with. So hopefully we are now back at WITS, and you, oh gosh, guys. Let's see where we're at. Let me share WITS again. Let's just make sure we are all on the same page here. Perfect. Okay, so we are back with WITS. So simple, www.wits.ac.za, and this is their opening page that you will get to. So we're going to start off by looking at the APS scores. If you go to study at WITS, you will come to this page. Now, if you know specifically what you want to do, you can work here where it says choose a degree. However, because we're taking a step back and because we are actually looking at what our points are, we are going to go to the undergraduate section. So when you click on here, again, you're going to go all the way down and you're going to look at apply. Talks you through all your steps. But again, if you go down, I hope I've gone to the right place here. Sorry, I've gone too far down. Okay, so you have come to this page and we are going to entry requirements. Now we know that entry requirements are different for every single course at a university, but fundamentally the points remain the same. So what you can see on the screen now in front of you is how you would calculate your WITS APS score. So on the table that you have in your Word document, the first column now, you've got your subjects. In the second column, you have written in your grade 11 marks. And we are now going to look at the third column in which you are going to write in your WITS points. Now, something to be really mindful of for WITS, and only for WITS at the moment, is that you can use your further studies subjects. So further studies math or further studies English can be used. They cannot replace your core subjects. So you still have to have home language, FAL, LO, and math option, but they can be one of your others. So we are going to start with English and math, and you will see here that they have added 2 points additionally for any mark that is above 60%. So have a look at your English mark to begin with, your English home language, and you will see, looking only through column 2 and column 3, how many points you get. So if your English mark is between 0 and 29%, WITS will give you 0 points. 30 to 39 is 0. 40 to 49 is 3. 50 to 59 is 4. And then you will see a big jump. 60 to 69 is 7. 70 to 79 is 8. 80 to 89 is 9. And 90 to 100 gives you 10 points. So in your column on your Word document under WITS, you are now going to write in the amount of points that you would have for English. Once you have done that for English, using the exact same columns, which is column 2 and column 3, you are going to do exactly the same exercise for mathematics. You do need to be really careful here. We are looking at mathematics. We're not looking at mathematical literacy. So if you've got mathematical literacy, chill for the moment while everyone else does it. If you have core maths, then you are welcome to use the same points. We're then going to look at the fourth column, which focuses on life orientation. WITS is one of very, very few tertiary organizations that actually acknowledges life orientation. However, you will see that the points are different. So a reminder that life orientation actually is a 10 credit subject, whereas all your other subjects at matric level are 20 credit. It is for that reason that they do give less points. However, every single point counts when it comes to university. So you will see that if you have 59% or less for life orientation, WITS will not give you any points. 60 to 69 is 1. 70 to 79 is 2. 80 to 89 is 3. And 90 to 100 is 4. So again, going back to your table, you are going to now write in how many points you have for life orientation. So hopefully this means that you have, or you do definitely have, your English home language and your life orientation written on your table. If you take core maths, you also have that. For your FAL, your mathematical literacy, and your 3 other subjects, you are now focusing on the last column of this table. So you will see at WITS that for all of those subjects, for any of those subjects, a 0 to 29 is 0 points. 30 to 39 is 0 points. 40 to 49 is 3 points. 50 to 59 is 4. 60 to 69 is 5. 70 to 79 is 6. 80 to 89 is 7. And 90 to 100 is 8. So take each of your other subjects and make sure that you are awarding a mark or a point next to it. And once you have done that for your 7 subjects, in the final row of your table, add up your points to get your APS score for WITS. If you are taking more than 7 subjects at matric level, you have to include your home language, your FAL, your math option, and life orientation. And then you are welcome to pick your best 3. Just because you have 8 subjects does not mean you apply with 8. Everyone applies with 7 subjects. So you just pick the ones that serve you best. Okay, so hopefully now you have your WITS points score. And you can see here that it is different to the standard NSC point system, primarily because the added 2 points for English and math, the added point for 90 to 100, as well as the life orientation point. So once you have that total, you are now able to see what you can apply for. And it's really important to note that when we go on, and we'll go on and have a look at a couple now, that is what is called the minimum requirement. So let's say it requires 15 points. Okay. If you have 15 points or higher, you can apply for that particular course. Does not mean you are going to get in. It just means that you have opened the door. If you have 14 points or less, it means that you have not met the minimum requirements, and therefore they aren't going to accept you into the course. Okay, so we're going to go back up to the very top of the website again, and we're going to go back where we started. So, study at WITS. Okay, we now know how many points that we have. So we now need to see what courses are available. To remind you, WITS University offers undergraduate, postgraduate, and short courses. Postgraduate is only for students that have already got a degree. So everyone going from school is going straight into undergraduate. And you will find that when you are on an undergraduate course, that there are different things that you can do in different areas. Okay. There is a whole lot of information here to support you. So just because we are zipping to where the points are, I really do encourage you to go through all aspects of it. So you have looking at student life, you have look at support. If you are an international student, you have what is available here. Okay. So I am going to type in here that I am interested in law, for example. And because I am going straight from matric, it remains undergraduate, and I am then going to search what is available. So WITS University have a whole lot of different courses that you can see. Some of them you can see by their name don't actually sound like law, but you will find when you actually go into them that a whole lot of law comes up. So for absolute ease, we are going to click on the first one. So straight away, you can see it is a law degree. It is 3 years and it is full-time. When we open it, it gives us so much more detail in regards to what is actually about. And this is where it's really, really important, because you may say that I'm interested in law, or you may say that I'm interested in business, but each of the courses is very nuanced. So you have to make sure you are applying for the best one. But you will see here, it says point number 4 when it comes to entry requirements. You can either click on it or you can scroll down, having read everything else. And you will see that we have entry requirements. So for this particular degree at WITS, it is saying that you need 43 or more points. So remember, that is your way to open the door. So if you are sitting on 42 or less, it means that you are not meeting the minimum requirements. Okay. If you have the 43 points, it means you can go to the second point, which requires you to have home language at level 5. Now, remember, when you look at your levels in your matric phase, the easiest way to do it is your level +1. So a level 5, we are looking at 60% or higher. So you have your 43 points, you have 60% in English home language. You then move on to the next one that says mathematics, also at level 5, which is also a 60%. So in order to apply for this course, you have to have 43 points, you have to have 60% in your home language, and you have to have 60% in mathematics. If you do not have all of those 3, it means you are not meeting the minimum requirements. So let's say you have 43 points, you have level 7 in home language, but you take mathematical literacy. Because you have mathematical literacy and not core maths, you are not meeting the minimum requirements. What you will see below, and they do this for every single course, is they talk about waitlisting. Now, waitlisting is a blessing and a curse. So what it means to be waitlisted means that as things stand, they are not going to offer you a guaranteed spot. However, when it comes to the end of matric, depending on your final results and depending on the amount of availability that they have, they may well then offer you a place. So they are not saying no. They are saying, let's wait and see. The bonus about being waitlisted is that you are still being considered. And when you think about university applications, a lot of people apply to more than one place and more than one course. So let's say I apply for 3 different courses. I am only going to end up studying one of them. As a result, 2 of the places that I have been reserved for me are now all of a sudden available for someone that's been waitlisted. So if you are waitlisted, there is a chance that that will change to an acceptance. The challenge comes in is that it means that you don't know. So it may be that actually there aren't any places available, or that they're offering it to someone else that has been waitlisted. Okay, so it is a lovely position to be in, but it doesn't mean anything is guaranteed. But what you can see here is that they are saying if you are between 35 and 42 points, and you will see English at level 6, which is a 70%, and math at level 6, which is a 70%. So English and math is now higher, but the overall points is lower. That is when you will be waitlisted. And it's these little details that you're going to have to be really careful of, because it is really easy to say, I have the 43 points, so life is good. But actually, it is the details that you need. In this particular case, having mathematics is compulsory. Okay. So again, I'm going to remind you how to get here. So when you go on to WITS, let me take you to WITS at the very, very beginning so we don't get confused. So when you go to WITS, this is what you are going to see in front of you. You now know what your WITS APS score is, so you are going to go to Study at WITS. If you know what you want to do, you are going to type it in here, and you are going to press Search Courses, and you can then look through all the courses that relate to what you want to do. If you are unsure about what you want to do, you can click on the undergraduate, and you can go here to degrees. And you will see here listed, although you obviously have to open it, all the different courses that they have. Okay. I want to draw your attention to career planning. Okay. and it is launching your career by matching your personality and subject choice to the best working environment. You will find, and you'll find it when we look at UJ just now, that there are a lot of support networks built in to university websites. So if you come onto here, and again, you can see the pathway. We've gone home, study at WITS, undergraduate academic programs. If you click on here, you are able to do a personality testing that will see strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so if you are considering WITS, you know your points and you know how to work them out. You now know how to see which of the courses are accessible to you based on your marks, as well as in the detail of particular things that are covered within that course. Okay, so we are not looking at actually making the application at this stage. We are looking at, do you meet the minimum requirements in order to be able to apply? Okay, so we are going to then do the same exercise for UJ. So both of the universities in this particular lesson are the local ones. Fundamentally, that means that you wouldn't be having to look at accommodation. So again, here you will see the University of Johannesburg, www.uj.ac.za. And again, just like WITS, a really comprehensive website, which is fantastic. Okay, so I'll take you through the steps before I get there. So as per any other, we are going to go onto the actual website, and it is going to start here. Now, the first thing to be aware of is that just like WITS, they do have that additional support in place in which you can actually chat to someone or to an AI bot as you are going through the process. So if you have any questions or if you are unsure of anything, the support is almost built into the websites. They want to make it easy to you. And you can chat till your heart is content. You do not need to query or question anything because they will have the answers for you. So we are going to look at the admissions and the aid tag. And where we are going to start is by looking at undergraduate. Okay, again, a reminder that undergraduate is the course, the degree that you do directly from school. Just as I drew your attention on WITS, they do have an option here for free career guidance. And I want to try and show that to you. So, sorry, it's gone behind my, let me try and get up there. Okay, so let me open here. You will see that this Go Study, for example, I think it's an 80 questioner. Let's have a look. So it says, click here to start. You're starting your questionnaire. And 105. So there are 105 questions. So you are literally asking yourself, is this something that I would like to do? And that is a simple yes or no. And you are going to work your way through all those particular questions. When you get to the end, you are going to get this screen. And it is going to show you in broad strokes where your interest has come up. So I did it, and it's complete random as I went through it. But you will see that I am less interested in plants and animals and far more interested in the social sciences. And when you click on that, it actually will take you through all the different careers that are available that potentially link in. So again, you have another opportunity to match your interests with particular courses. They are not all 100% accurate, but the reality is the more that you do these particular questionnaires, the more you are going to find a consistent thread that comes up. And if you are doing it 2, 3, 4 times and you're getting the same results, it is something to really consider. Okay, so let's take us back here. And we are looking at the university admissions, and we have gone to undergraduate. And we are clicking on the undergraduate prospectus. We're going to do digital because we can look at it online, and there's no need to be printing it off at this stage. And it comes up with this booklet. Okay, so it is a 100-page booklet, which again, no need to print it off unless we need to, but actually covers everything that you need. And one of the things that we were looking at, and I'll go back to application process here, is that it really does talk you through what you need to do. So page 14 and page 15 is where we are going to focus today. And that is because we do want to now work out our APS score for UJ. So going back to your Word document, you on the final column, you are now going to put in your UJ points. Now, something to be mindful of at UJ is here, life orientation is not counted as part of your APS scores. So that means that you are applying to UJ with your best 6 subjects. Okay, so on the row where you have written life orientation, you are just going to put a 0 because you do not get any points for life orientation at UJ. But you will see here, and I'm just going to make that easier, is they work on, you guys are all doing national certificate, okay? And they work on the original system, which is 1 point for 0 to 29, 2 for 30 to 39, 3 for 40 to 49, 4 for 50 to 59, 5, 60 to 69, 6, 70 to 79, and 7, 80 to 100. So they do not discriminate on a particular subject, and they do not add points for particular marks. So every single one of your 7 subjects uses exactly the same points when it comes to UJ. Okay. Please remember at UJ, you may not use life orientation, and you also may not use your further study subjects. They do not allow for that. Okay, so you now have a bit of paper that has your subjects. It has your end of grade 11 marks on it. It has a column for your points at WITS, and it has a column and a total for your points at UJ. Okay, and again, just like WITS, and I will go back to it now. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to find it. Let me just make this a little bit smaller for us. You can now go through. Sorry. Let me go back to my table of contents to make sure I actually get it right. So you will see here they have all the information. You will, from page 30 onwards, so let's try and go to page 30. What they do is they will take you through every single course that they have. Now, UJ over WITS offers a far more diverse range of course, not just degrees, but also certificates, higher certificates, and diplomas. Okay, so because it is literally the first one that I have clicked on, we are going to look at a bachelor degree in architecture. So you have worked out your points, and just like at WITS, the minimum APS score that you need to apply for the bachelor degree of architecture is 30 points. So that is step 1. English, and by English they mean home language, but for all of us it is home language. You require a level 5 which is 60%, and you also need 60% in mathematics. They have taken it a step further and said to you explicitly that mathematical literacy and technical maths are not accepted. So you know, in order to meet the minimum requirements for a bachelor degree in architecture, you have 30 APS points, you have 60% or higher in English home language, and you have 60% or higher in mathematics. Okay, they have not suggested that there are a minimum in regards to wait listing. It doesn't mean that they don't that they don't offer wait listing places, but they are just not being explicit about it at this stage. So you would work through all the different faculties that are here and all the different points that you can get. Now I'm just going to scroll over so you can see on these 2 pages that we are looking at degree programs. Excuse me, a degree program is the highest undergraduate course that you can do. Okay. You will see that they also offer a diploma program. Often they are slightly shorter in time, and they often take a combination of theory and practical courses. So if you were to do an architecture course in diploma, it may mean in order to get a job that once you have passed, you move on to the actual degree. Okay. Here you will see that they talk about national certificates. And something that's really lovely about UJ in comparison to WITS is that if you have a set interest, and again, let's go back to architecture for the sake of it, but you do not meet the minimum requirements for the degree course, is that there is another pathway in. And here it's starting with a diploma, or it could be starting with a certificate. So gaining access or entry into the university is potentially easier. It does mean that your pathway to getting fully qualified is potentially longer, but it does give you the opportunity of being there. And that's something really, really significant to consider, is people talk about so much about your matric results and what doors they're going to open. The reality is they are going to open doors for you. It may not be the set door that you were after, but there is a very high chance that it will allow you to get there, even though the pathway may be slightly different. Okay, so we have looked at WITS and we have now looked at UJ. And I have shown you explicitly the questionnaire that UJ offers. And like I say, I love these questionnaires. I think the more you do, the more you actually get out of them because you see current threads. So I want to spend a couple of minutes now looking at the NBTs, or the National Benchmark Tests. Okay. So these were brought in probably over 10 years ago now. Okay. And fundamentally, there are 2 NBTs that get taken, but they are not syllabus specific, and each course and each university requires different things from them. Okay, so you will see here by definition are assessments used in South Africa to measure academic readiness for university. Okay, they help universities determine the level of support students may need during their studies and are often used alongside their results for admission purposes. So a university such as UCT, the University of Cape Town, actually gives a weighting to your NBT results. So the better you do in your NBTs, the more it adds to your academic points. Okay. The other universities are not as explicit in terms of what they use it for, but that you obviously need to take them and you need to pass in them. So what we have found is that in general, people's marks are slightly lower on NBTs than they are at the end of matric. The reality is that they are hard tests. They are there to distinguish difference. Okay, so do not be alarmed by the standards of these tests. Okay, but you will see here the National Benchmarks Test website, which looks like this. So when you are going through, and again, I'm just going to refer to WITS and UJ, when you are going through their prospectuses and their courses and their applications, they will make reference as to whether you need to take your NBTs and which NBTs you need to take. So there are 2 NBTs. The first one is more language-based, and the second one is mathematical. When you are applying, and I mean it's a broad assumption, but when you are applying for an arts-based course, a Bachelor of Arts degree, and they require you to take the language one, but not the maths. If you are going the maths and science route, they do actually require you to take both. Okay, so all registering for NBTs all happens online. Okay, and again, just like WITS and just like UJ, actually the website is really, really user-friendly. Okay, so there are plenty of different ways that you can gain access. Fundamentally, you are going to set up an account, and it takes you through the rules. It talks about question and answers. It talks about costs and how to book, etc., etc. Now, something we need to know about NBTs is that although you can see your results through your account, you need to do nothing with your results. So you are going to register, you'll book a test. The vast majority of tests today happen in person again. However, there has been and is still access to online testing. It is trickier and certainly, in my opinion, not as easy, but is something that is available. So I know that most of our students tend to go and write their NBTs at WITS, and they go to the main hall. And I think each of the test days can accommodate up to 2,000 students. So you are writing in a very big venue with a lot of people. Okay. There is a very high chance, like I said, that you will not know all the answers to the NBTs. You only need to write your NBTs once. So if you are applying at different universities or for different courses, you do not need to write them again and again. What makes that slightly confusing, if I'm honest with you, is that some universities and some courses do allow you to rewrite if you would like to. What I would say in regards to that is just think really carefully and just make sure whether that is the case. You can only book for a rewrite once you have got your results from your first write. And don't do it unless you need to. The reality is in your matric year, you have an awful lot of stuff going on. So you do not want to find yourself under unnecessary pressure unless you need to be. Okay, so NBTs, nbts.ac.za. You will go through, so you are going to either log into your account or you are going to register, and it will take you through everything that you need in regards to booking your NBTs. Okay, so the last thing today, so quick recap, we have done APS scores at WITS, APS scores at UJ, and navigated how you can see how many points you need for courses at both of those places. I have shown you for WITS where you can do a career assessment and personality guide, as well as at UJ, going through the questionnaire. We have looked at NBTs in terms of the website and how you register and book. And the last thing I want to spend just a little bit of time on is looking at financial support that is available at university. So I'm hoping if I go back to UJ, it's going to make it easy for me. So all universities have access to some kind of financial support, but that is not the only support that is out there. But the reality is that if you are looking for financial support at university, you do very much have to be proactive in regards to it. So if we are looking at UJ, we are going to go down to where it says student finances. So again, you can see www.uj.ac.za, admissions age undergraduate, and we are clicking on student finance. Okay, there are a whole lot of things going on here. Okay, and some of them are seemingly very relevant and some of them aren't. Okay, if you are requiring financial aid for university, I would ask you to go in with an open mind and to not rule anything out. Okay. However, and it's purely my opinion, and take it or leave it, is that bursaries are a really lovely place to start. A reminder that bursaries are looking at your skills and your abilities, but they are also very much looking at need. Okay. Remembering this is one website that has all this information. So you will see all these different opportunities that are available in regards to only bursaries at UJ. But if you go and click on the undergraduate and postgraduate thing, we now have 50 pages. Okay. And these are 50 pages that are full of information about bursaries, how you get bursaries, and how you apply for bursaries. Okay, so I really do encourage every single one of you to have a really good look through all the different courses, all the different bursaries that UJ itself is offering. Okay, so a reminder, this is literally just UJ. Another really, really lovely website that I refer to very, very often is, oh, let me close that. I thought I was being clever. www.zabursaries.co.za. Okay. And this is a website or an organization that actually works with bursaries from different corporates. So UJ's was looking at a little bit of corporate and what they offer themselves, but Bursaries South Africa is looking at different companies and different organizations that help you with this. Again, what is super lovely here is you will see the breakdown. Okay, ones that are closed in July, ones that are closed in August, and up at the top, ones that are relating to particular things. So just like at UJ, just like at WITS, just like at any of the student loan places, it does require you to be proactive. Okay, so I'm going to do a random. So let's go arts. Okay, a reminder at tertiary education that when we talk about arts, we are not just talking about visual arts. We are talking about all the degrees that require linguistic or artistic talent. Okay, so they are talking you through and they are now saying, view them all. You are now going to see, you can, oh, let's just get rid of that because we don't want that one. All the different bursaries that are available to you. Okay, what you are going to see, oh, how lovely is this? How to write a bursary motivational letter. Okay, so a really lovely opportunity to take on tips and tricks, preparing for a bursary interview. They really are giving you every possible opportunity for success. So on the right-hand side here, we have got a whole lot of bursaries going on. So I'm going to randomly click on KPMG bursary. And what it does here is it shows you the history of it. It shows you what it covers. And this is a really, really important part of financial aid, and probably worth us just pausing and having a think about, is that tertiary institutions are expensive. They are expensive in terms of actual academic fees, but there are also other costs that come into it. So we need to be really mindful that we are not just paying tuition. We are paying for books. We are paying for, sounds silly, stationery, lunch every day, all those type of things. So when you are looking at bursaries and financial support that is available, you really want to make sure that it is covering what you want it to cover. So they are talking about the type of bursaries and the type of courses that they are affiliated to. They are telling you the eligibility requirements. So this is what you need to have to be able to do it. And they really are going as far as how to apply. And like so many of them, again, it is online. So it's ensuring you've got your internet connection. It's ensuring that you have all the details that you need in order to apply. Some places allow you only to have or be the recipient of one bursary at a time. That doesn't mean that you only apply for one bursary. So I really do encourage you to take a day and to apply for as many different bursary courses and bursary applications as you can. They are there to assist you, and you will not get the support unless you ask for the support. Okay. All of these things, whether you are looking at WITS, whether you're looking at UJ, NBTs, bursaries, etc., all of them require a commitment of time. It is a big job to fill in an application form. It is a big job to write a letter in order to apply for a bursary. But once you understand what you need, it does make it a whole lot easier for you going forward. Okay, so I am hopeful that now I have spoken for 47 minutes, that we have a very good understanding in terms of how to calculate our APS scores, what that means at WITS, what it means at UJ, the different personality and career assessment resources that are available free of charge, how we apply for NBTs, and where we can find or even start the find of some bursaries that are available for us to apply to. It is daunting and it is overwhelming, but with time and commitment, there are many, many opportunities that are available. I'm hoping, like we said at the beginning, that by us recording this lesson, that actually it now becomes a resource going forward, that you can stop it, start it, work with it, whatever the case. You are always welcome to ask questions, but it does provide the foundation for starting the conversations, NBTs, bursaries, WITS, and UJ. So I hope that it was useful. I look forward to seeing you all soon, and I hope it helped. Okay, take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.